through Hebrews 11 and let it teach us this, that we draw near in prayer and we walk forward in faith. We draw near in prayer and we walk forward in faith. So if you have your Bibles, if you could open them up or on your phones or whatever and turn to Hebrews chapter 11. We're going to start in verse 1. I'm going to read the first few verses here, and then we're going to kind of pause and we'll just kind of walk through the chapter of Hebrews 11. And the first thing that I want us to see as we walk through this chapter is that prayer trains us to trust what we can't see. Where it says that by faith, we, what? We understand. So what's it saying here? Is it saying that faith is not described as a feeling that we summon or a mindset that we adopt? Faith is described as understanding reality. By faith, we understand. And that's important because that shapes how we see the world around us. Verse 3 tells us that what is seen was made from what is unseen. So what does that mean? So before anything was visible, before anything that we can see with our physical eyes, God was already at work. Before there was evidence of the physical reality that we see, there was His Word. He was pre-existent. He was preeminent. Which means that faith begins with this conviction that God is active even when His activity is not yet visible. Do you believe that? That God is active even when His activity is not yet visible. And I think that's what separates biblical faith from positivity or optimism. Optimism says, like, things are going to work out, things will eventually go my way. But faith says, God is already at work, even if I can't see how. And this is where prayer matters so deeply, because prayer is how we learn to trust what is unseen. It's not because prayer gives us insider information, but because prayer reshapes how we see. When we draw near to God, we're reminded that He does His deepest work before it becomes obvious. And this is where our big idea takes hold, that we draw near in prayer and we walk forward by faith. And we move forward not because everything is visible, but because the unseen God is already at work. And Hebrews continues in verse 4. I want us to see that prayer shapes obedience long before results. Let me read the next 4 verses here. By faith, Abel offered to God a better sacrifice than Cain did. By faith, he was approved as a righteous man because God approved his gifts. And even though he is dead, he still speaks through his faith. By faith, Enoch experienced death. He was not to be found because God took him away, for before he was taken away, he was approved as one who pleased God. Now, without faith, it is impossible to please God, since the one who draws near to Him must believe that He exists and that He rewards those who seek Him. And by faith, Noah, after he was warned about what was not yet seen and motivated by godly fear, built an ark to deliver his family. By faith, he condemned the world and became an heir of the righteousness that comes by faith. So, interesting, as we walk through Hebrews 11 here, the writer does something interesting here. I think he doesn't give us a list of the accomplishments of all these heroes of the faith that you read about in Hebrews 11. What he does do is he gives us simple acts of obedience. So Noah built an ark before there was evidence that it made sense to build an ark. Abel offered what pleased God. Enoch he simply walked with God. And none of them knew how their obedience would turn out. They weren't responding to results. They were